Hey, what is going on guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a gameplay commentary, and as well, I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to choke less in Fortnite, and that could be anything from the in-game to just any type of fight in between, where you could choke, maybe you're low on HP, or whatever the case may be. I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks how to win those fights. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you need to do is to drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, if you guys don't already, make sure you guys have me added and supported as a creator. It's super simple to do. All you need to do is go to the item shop, then just tap X and hit support a creator, and then type in my code. It's the same as my gamer tag. Just type in Young Humor and you will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be commentating over my gameplay, and as well, I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to choke less in this game. And for this gameplay here in the background that you guys are watching, it is a 22 kill that game that I had in duos coming from Retail Row. So starting out, I was able to pick off the first 2 kills in retail, and in this gameplay, I'm not gonna lie, there's like at least 2 or 3 times where I really could have died, especially on this one guy that I was fighting. This guy had the W key down. He was just rushing me, going through every single one of my builds, spraying the absolute mess out of me. And I'm not even gonna lie, I had a pretty clutch play on him, you guys are about to see towards the end, but this guy was just spraying and spraying and spraying. And when it comes to just situations like that, or just gunfights where you're running against players who are just spamming you really hard, or just playing really aggressive, honestly the best thing you can do is you try to figure out a way, and this is especially true when you're low on HP and you need to get off a knock or a kill. The best thing that you can do is just try to have a weapon, or just try to have something in this game that can deal a lot of damage really quickly. Because if you're low on HP and you're challenging a guy with 150 HP, pulling out an AR is probably not going to work at all, unless they're not even looking at you or turn the other way. But chances are, if you're low, then they're probably going to be looking at you, and the best thing you can do is either to use a shotgun or to use a trap in that situation. But as far as it comes to late game, if you want to be able to clutch out more games in the end, because if you guys are feeling like you're getting a lot of second places, maybe a lot of third places, or maybe even a lot of top 10, and you're not able to finish out games, one of the best things you can do, and the one thing that I always recommend trying to play off of, is you always want to try to play off the amount of HP and the amount of mats you have. So you always want to play off exactly what you have, and that could even come down to if you have traps or not, if you want to play with boxes or not, because a lot of the times if you have someone trapped in your box, going for an edit play is going to be pretty predictable, unless they're just trying to get out of your box or they're trying to make a play on you. Most of the time it's going to be very predictable, and they're going to be ready for it. But really the best thing that you can do is play off the amount of HP and the amount of mats that you have. And I've had a lot of games where I've seen quite a bit of shots that I could have taken, or quite a few gunfights that I could have gotten into, but instead what I did is I waited it out, because I could have had a wide open shot on them, but if I would have taken the shot, then they would have for sure turned around and started taking shots at me. And at that point I really wasn't in the best spot to challenge, because really there I only had like 150 or 200 mats, and if they were to challenge me, even if I killed them, the chances of me killing them were pretty low, especially because I was in an open field. And if I were to go for the challenge, they would have focused me, and running through 200 mats in an open field really doesn't take too long, and I would have for sure lost the gunfight if I didn't have the mats. So definitely playing off the amount of HP you have and the amount of mats that you have, because the one thing that I can say is the more HP you have, the more aggressive you can play, and the lower HP you have, the more defensive you have to play. Doesn't mean you have to always play defensive, but you have to be very careful on the shots that you take, and kind of your play style and the way you play it. And everything that I said right there is very true, and it really could work in for any part of the game, whether in the mid game or even the late game. But especially you want to do this in the late game, because you don't want to choke the game. I'd rather die off spawn than die getting 10th place and having like 12 or 13 kills, because that honestly is the worst. And also another tip that I can give you guys is, say you get into a situation where you're getting challenged by another team and you're low on mats, the best thing you can do is you have to play very aggressive. And for the reason being, say you only have like 150 mats, if you try to play slow, you have to wait if you're waiting for them to come to you, what's going to happen every single time is you're going to be waiting for them to come to you, and then what's going to happen is they're just going to keep spraying until you're out of mats, because pretty much a lot of players in this game play really defensive, which means they're just going to be sitting back and spraying their AR, and you're not going to be able to do too much about it. But if you play very aggressive, you have definitely a lot more control over how the gunfight goes. And if you're playing aggressive, being the one who shoots first, they're not going to be able to shoot you back, they're going to be the one building. And of course that doesn't happen every single time, but the majority of times if you shoot at someone, all they're going to do is sit back a little bit and build, which is going to buy you enough time to go for a push and make a play on that player. So the lower your mag count, the more aggressive you should be. But of course, what I mean by aggressive is, say you're in a spot where pretty much you have to challenge, the best thing you can do is just to play a little bit slower, play off buildings and such like that. But if it comes to a spot where you're kind of in the open and you know you have to challenge that team and you have a little bit of mats, then of course you want to play as aggressive as you possibly can, or you're just going to get screwed over and then die to a guy spamming a scar at you, or just spamming a minigun, or whatever kind of guns they have, explosives. So here I was really contemplating on whether I wanted to rush right away or if I wanted to sit back, and I decided to sit back a little bit, and then so this team decided to just rush up on me. And honestly, the only reason why I'm going into this gunfight is, like I talked about in a lot of my previous videos, is because I have the redeployed glider, so I'm able to go for plays like this. Otherwise it can be a little bit risky, just because if there's a third party who has an RPG, or maybe there's just connected by a few ramps, it's going to be very easy for those players to knock the whole thing down. So you have to be very careful about that. But since I do have the redeployed gliders, it becomes very effective and very useful, just because I can sit up on high ground for as long as I want without worrying about dying to fall damage or taking a lot of damage. And as far as it comes to playing the zone, I mean, this can even go for mid game or even the late game, it applies the exact same. So when it comes to playing the zone, what you want to do is you always want to rotate early unless you have some kind of movement. And for me, I always have some kind of movement on me, and by movement I mean anything from gliders to launch pads, or just anything that you can move really fast across the map with. I mean, it could even be planes or maybe even quad crashers. So if you have any sort of movement, then of course you can play the zone a little bit longer, which is going to allow you for getting a lot more kills in a lot of games. Because if the zone's all the way across the map, unless I have something that I can get across the map very quickly with, I'm going to be taking a lot of storm damage if I go for fights inside of the zone. And it's really annoying. If I have to fight a team in the zone, that's going to be very difficult to deal with, and also going to be very hard to try to fight. And that's just something that I've had happen quite a bit. Well, not much as much recently with the gliders being in the game, but just having to fight a team or two, and basically the team that I'm fighting is in the zone, so they don't even care about the zone. They're literally just sitting in their box and they're just holding turbo build. They're not peeking for anything. I can't get control of their wall. I basically can't do anything, and they just literally let the zone come in, and if you try to go to the zone, they're just gonna laser you from the back. So those are the most annoying people to deal with. But if you have a launch pad or something like that, then you're gonna be able to to challenge as much of that team as possible. And if they just keep sitting in their box, then you can just rotate to the next zone. So always trying to have some sort of movement on you is going to be very helpful. If not, then you pretty much have to rotate to the next zone. And also another perk of having the redeployed gliders is you don't have to use your launch pads. And for the reason being, the launch pads are just super helpful in this game for a lot of reasons. And I would say the main reason is because with the redeployed gliders, it is a lot slower than using the launch pad, and as well you have to actually build up before you can use it. And with the launch pads, you can put them down pretty much anywhere on the map as long as you have your floor. So you can place them down, and then you can use that to get away from a lot of situations, which is honestly another reason why I would carry the gliders, just because those things are very helpful. And it's something that I had to use right after here. So here I'm building up in my cone place on the other side, and this guy was just WKing the absolute mess out of me running through my builds, and I was lucky enough to get a trap off. I really should have died in the situation. I had absolutely no HP, but I was able to get a trap off and then finish off with a shotgun. So here pretty much I'm branching out, and the reason why I'm branching out as much is because the guy above me is going to make it so much harder for him to hit me, because if I have like 3 or 4 builds connected to each other, 3 or 4 boxes in a row, it's going to make it very difficult for him to shoot at one, because if he starts shooting at one, I can just go to the other one. So it's going to make it a lot harder for this guy to hit me, and as well it's going to allow me to get off all my HP. So here I'm going to have the zone come in 20 seconds, and I'm going to use one of the launch pads I had to get away, because back in the fight over there I actually had a slurp, so I went back for it and I got the slurp, popped it, and now I'm in this fight over here. And I think that player ended up dying, or it could have been this guy, but I'm pretty sure that guy ended up dying to the other team that was behind him. So there's going to be 2 players left in this game, and I'm building above me and a little bit to my left or right, because I'm pretty sure this guy was shooting at a player who was to my left. So while I'm trying to get inside of this guy's box, I don't want to get shot from a third party from the guy to my left, because there is 2 other players left in this game. while at the same time I'm trying to make a play on this guy, and I started mining from 2 different walls to make it a lot harder for this guy to predict which way I was going to come from. So I ended up getting the wall on this player, and I was able to finish him off pretty easily once I got the wall. So here it is with the last player, and the best tip I can give you guys when it comes to not choking in the end game, when it comes to players like this, because you're going to notice this player really isn't the best of players, but he did have a sniper rifle, and a lot of players going to be hitting for 200, and I just feel like I'm the type of player to get hit for the 200 damage shot. So what I did is I waited for the zone to come in, because if the zone's coming at this guy's back, he pretty much the only thing he can do is run towards me, which is going to allow for me to get a wide open shot on this player and pretty much give him no opportunity at all to get a shot on me. So the only time I actually peeked him in for a challenge is when the zone started coming in. Otherwise, I really risk getting sniped at, and getting shot for 200 on the last player is not something that I really wanted to do. And with that being said, that's a wrap up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys liked it. And if you guys could, drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my notifications to be notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.